Nick Saban versus Jimbo Fisher in a steel cage match. My goodness. Fighting words, shots fired. A quick Locked On SEC starts now.
Are Locked On SEC, your daily podcast on the Southeastern Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is happening, everybody? Welcome into Locked On SEC, and thanks for making us your first listen every day. We got to jump into this because, my goodness, Nick Saban versus Jimbo Fisher. We knew that they were battling on the recruiting front. We know they're battling on the football field. Jimbo Fisher broke through as the first Saban assistant ever to beat Nick Saban last year on the football field. But speaking on Wednesday night, in Birmingham to more than 100 local business leaders, Alabama head coach Nick Saban had some strong words about everything from NIL to Jimbo Fisher and what Texas A&M is doing. Saban at one point, during a 6-minute answer, offered commentary about Texas A&M's 2022 recruiting class, which of course was the historic class that ranked number one among all the recruiting services. Recruits who signed letters of intent last December were, of course, the first to benefit from last July's rule change, allowing players to earn revenue from NIL. Even though you're not supposed to use NIL for recruiting, it's happening. Nick Saban said, quote, "I know the consequence is going to be difficult for the people who are spending tons of money to get players. You read about it. You know who they are. We were second recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness." Woo! That quote right there. You read about it. You know who they are. We were second recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. Need I remind you what Jimbo Fisher said a while back when it came to NIL? We didn't pay for any players. Pay for players. We recruited our coaching staff. They did a heck of a job going out there, recruiting these guys, building a recruiting class, selling them on College Station and A&M. Nick Saban went on to say, "We didn't buy one player, all right? But I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it. It is tough." That coming from Mike Rodak at AL.com. Rodak went on to say, Nick Saban said 25 players on Alabama last season earned NIL revenue totaling $3 million, and they did it, quote, the right way. This is Saban speaking at a 50-day countdown event for the World Games in Birmingham. A few other notes from Saban. He said Jackson State paid a guy $1 million last year, and that was a really good Division I player to come to that school. It was in the paper. They bragged about it. Nobody did anything about it. He said these guys from Miami that are going to play basketball there for $400,000. That's in the newspaper. The guy tells you he's doing it, but the NCAA can't enforce their rules because it's not against the law, and that's an issue. That is a problem. To top it all off, Lane Kiffin tweeted out an emoji of Peyton Manning with the firing gun pistols with his hands. That's Lane Kiffin's reaction to Nick Saban's comments made on Wednesday night. But my goodness, that quote from taking the shot at A&M saying, A&M bought every player on their team. I know we are going to hear a retort from Jimbo Fisher on this very soon because that is shots fired, and that is completely opposite of what Jimbo Fisher has said publicly. Look, I think a lot of us can use some common sense. NIL is playing a factor with a lot of this stuff. Even though the rules say you're not technically supposed to use it with recruiting or, the transfer portal, whatever. It's not supposed to be the reason it sways a kid. But come on, let's be real. We really think a recruit's going to go sign with a school, or transfer portal, a kid's going to go sign with that school and then go, oh, now let's talk NIL. No, it's kind of happening before then and swaying some of these kids. But, man, Nick Saban to go that outright. Look, Nick normally hides in the bushes. Nick normally is he doesn't go out there and say stuff this, arrow pointing at somebody else. But that is that's as wild as it gets. You read about it. You know who they are. We were second recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. We didn't buy one player. Whew. That is as direct as you can get. So now the ball is in Jimbo's court. See if Jimbo Fisher responds to Nick Saban's quotes there on Wednesday night. But, man, you think that's going to get brought up at SEC Media Days in a couple months? Even Michael Casagrande from AL.com, he tweeted out, my heavens. That is shots fired. Hashtag shots fired from Nick Saban over to Jimbo Fisher. Great stuff. A lot of fun. All right. Appreciate you guys checking out our abbreviated version of Locked On SEC. Want to remind you real quick about our partners at BetOnline. They continue to be the number one source for all your betting needs and sports information. Get all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's NBA playoffs. You got Major League Baseball going on. You got fights. You got even next season's NFL futures. All of it is at BetOnline. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports. They got you covered on just about everything. Head on over to their website today. You can do so on your mobile device. Learn about all the trends and action going on out there for you. Before you start placing your bets, you want to do your research, and betonline.net is the place to go. Bookmark it on your phone. Make sure it's the first place you go every morning before you do anything, because you need to get all the info and research that they have for you at betonline.net. It is BetOnline, and it is where the game starts. Talk to you guys tomorrow right here on Locked On SEC.